Hey, welcome to Reviews on the Run. We're here at CES, deep in the heart of Tent City.
At the World Series of video games.
That's right. Today on Reviews on the Run, we're taking a look at Superman Returns, Excite Truck, Tony Hawk's Project 8, and in Versus, it's Resistance Fall of Man against Gears of War. Some of the games we look at on Reviews on the Run are intended for a mature audience. Please pay attention to each game's ESRB rating. All right, we're going to be talking about all kinds of cool video games today, but let's start off with one that maybe isn't so cool, maybe not so super, as a matter of fact.
About?
It's Superman Returns from Electronic Arts.
Right.
We looked at it on the Xbox 360. It's also out there for the Xbox and the PlayStation 2. I'm sure it'll be out on the PlayStation 3. What did you think of Superman Returns?
What I love about Superman is that, you know, they've created the entire city of Metropolis.
Yes.
And then some.
It's their own interpretation of Metropolis, though. It's kind of taken from the theme of the film, but it's their own deal.
But it is incredibly, because, I mean, it's like twice the size of a Manhattan, let's say.
Right.
But you can literally go all the way up and zoom all the way in as Superman to the street. I don't know if I've played a game where you can get that kind of distance and go right in.
Well, they
the
had to
sense
do that.
of and they did it well.
They did it pretty good. They did it pretty good.
They pulled it off.
I mean, I can't believe you're raving about this after we've played a game like Spider-Man 2.
But Spider-Man,
on
you couldn't
the
go.
Original Xbox.
But Spider-Man 2, you couldn't get that. But
no.
I liked when you were in Superman, being Superman, you could zoom so quick.
I know, the super speed is awesome.
You got a sense of speed, and then you'd hit like sonic booms, and the sound.
What I did like about that is that there was a successive sonic boom thing going on. You go super fast,
and then
continue going faster.
And then faster.
You get a louder boom. I thought that was pretty cool. I did like that.
So I thought
the art around the whole superpower thing, kind of cool. Just like the movie poster, they have that angle of Superman hovering above the city with his cape flapping, and then you can zoom right down. I thought that was pretty cool.
When you first get into the game and you're first doing it, is that like they had some kind of diversified missions, like, you know, they had like meteors
just to kick you off. The first mission's fun, actually.
That's what I'm saying is they had meteors coming in, you had to hit them with your vision, and then like the second mission was this arena fighting game, which was really weird,
stupid. I mean, that was like
where did that come from?
I don't know. It's like they wanted to teach you the fight mechanics, and then they
throw you into this
some guy named Mongol and a bunch of different
I don't remember
extraterrestrial
being in the movie.
Mercenaries. I know.
So that was really weird. But again, it was something that was a little different. So I thought that we were going to see a bunch of different diversified gameplay elements.
No.
But the reality is that once those things pass, all you're doing is flying around the city, waiting for something to come up on the radar, go down and bash the hell out of them for like 20 minutes.
You do see Lex Luthor and Lois Lane, played by Kevin Spacey and Kate Bosworth, but they're only cutscenes. You don't really fight Luthor.
Right.
You don't really get to interact with Lois Lane or really save her. It's
I'd like to interact with Lois Lane.
Boy, too bad you can't in this game.
There's like the city damage meter, and if it reaches a certain panic, then you lose the game.
Superman doesn't really have a health meter because he can regenerate if he gets hurt.
Which I thought was smart.
I like that. The city needs to be saved, and that's the health meter.
So the more that the enemies start destroying the city and kill the people, you can actually try to save them and get that meter up.
I'm tired of DC getting the short end of the stick in the video game world. I'm sick of it.
You're jinxed, my friend. You're jinxed.
We need a good DC video game. Help me, please.
There's something I've got to get off my chest.
What are you going to give Superman Returns?
I'm giving it a 7.
I'm giving it a 5.5.
Oh, come on.
Just barely past mediocre.
All right. On the positive side, all of Metropolis is easily accessible. We love the way they've incorporated the Life City meter and how you can rescue citizens. But the coolest part, I think, is the supersonic flying speed.
On the negative side, the missions are way too repetitive. Why is the second mission a stupid fight with Mongol on some alien war planet? And I couldn't handle all the collision detection problems and all the various quirks that are a part of this experience.
All right, I'm going to talk about a game for the PSP now. What are you looking at? Oh, you must be looking at my super cool chrome-plated special limited edition PSP. That's right, only 10 of them in the universe. Got this one right from the president of Sony himself, because I'm special. No, actually, I just changed the faceplate. But anyway, I'm talking about online chess Kingdoms. So you can play normal chess, and the artificial intelligence on the chess opponent is always really good. And, you know, talk about lasting gameplay. You can't argue with a game that's been around, I don't know, 4,000 or 5,000 years. But the cool thing is they have a bunch of different modes in here. They have kind of like this board game, and you try to take over different squares and territories. It's almost like a version, it's a cross between Risk and chess all at once. Anyway, I think it's a fun game. I love chess. It's a new take on chess. I think it's cool. I'm giving it a 7.5.
All right, stick around. We're coming right back with a look at Excite Truck for the Nintendo Wii right after this.
Get your wrists ready. All right, now I'm talking about Snoopy versus the Red Baron for the PSP. Now, the interesting thing about this game is that it's pretty much an exact port of the PS2 and PC titles that also came out. Now, this is a really fun, simplistic game. It kind of reminds me of Crimson Skies, except maybe for kids and in the Peanuts kind of universe. But, you know, you fly as Snoopy, and you're on your, you're on your biplane, and it's got a bunch of different really fun missions. It's almost like a whole bunch of really cool mini games strung together in this big world. There's lots of different things you're doing. Sometimes you're trying to fly through rings. Other times you're trying to protect certain buildings or certain ships. On the PSP, I gotta tell you, the graphics were really up there on par with the PlayStation 2. Overall, I thought it was really well done. I'm giving it a 7.5.
Hey, welcome back. We're talking about Excite Truck on the Wii, Nintendo Wii, and when I hear Excite anything,
yes,
I think of Excite Bike.
Excite Bike.
Which was exciting on the NES.
And was a Nintendo first-party title.
And it was exciting when Left Field did the an N64 game back in the day.
One of
Loved
our
that
favorites
game.
For the 64.
Very great game. Excite Truck aspires to be as exciting. Not quite. But not horrible, mind you. I kind of got into the speed of the thing, and the controls a little bit wacky and crazy. You control like this. Do it with me, come on.
Right.
Do it with me.
And then you do this too, though. Go like
this. You do this. Yeah.
And then this and that.
Our audio guys are freaking out right now. You shouldn't do that with a microphone.
No.
It's a slippy, slidey surface that you're on, so it's very forgiving. So you can go crashing through the trees and be trying to figure out and be stable and get back on the road, and it all kind of makes sense gameplay-wise. And you're not driving an F1 car, you know? You're driving an off-road vehicle.
Well, here's the thing, is that I was very impressed with the speed of Excite Truck.
It's very fast. I did dig that.
But
and the jumps are fun as well.
The jumps were great,
yeah.
But I almost thought that it kind of hindered these particular controls because it was kind of difficult to control at the higher speeds, I felt.
Yeah.
You're a big one for invisible walls.
I know.
We got invisible walls in the driving game now.
Well, they're not really invisible because you hit it and it has giant yellow arrows telling you where to go. So it's just like reality, really.
Just like it.
Yeah.
What I liked in the game is kind of the speed element when you hit the turbo and you go forward and you launch yourself.
Yes.
That was fun.
Yep.
It's almost like I'd like to see Burnout Revenge have more of those kind of jumps and turbo moments.
I wasn't expecting the game to be as fast as it is.
I didn't find there was a lot of like in-depth gameplay.
No, I mean
that you have with some of the other driving games that are out there. Tons of tournament modes.
You get the Excite races, and then they
online.
No online.
Online.
The Nintendo hasn't got the Wii online stuff done yet. What they have, they've split it up into like a challenge level where you have a bunch of different ones. You can jump through the rings, or you can smash the cars, or you can go through different gates and stuff like that that get progressively narrower. Yeah. Or they have their Excite races that become progressively more difficult, and that's it. They did take a page from Xbox, and you can actually put music onto an SD card. And trust me, you are going to want to change the music because the music bites in this game. It's so heavy metal, rock and roll guitar in your face, 80s cheese ball. It's just too much, man. Too much to take. But you know, it's a decent game. You put the Excite sort of in the label. I want it to be a little more exciting. I want it to be a little bit better. I'm going to give Excite Truck a 6.5. What are you giving it?
It's exactly what I give it, 6.5.
On the positive side, you do get a pretty good sense of speed. Pulling off those fiery jumps at the top of hills is pretty fun. The different challenges in challenge mode are actually pretty cool. And thankfully, you can switch out your music.
On the negative side, we didn't enjoy the invisible walls on the tracks. We were hoping for some online play here. And like Vic said, the music is brutal in the game. And basically, the game's almost too fast for its own good for the controls because it's sometimes hard to operate at high speeds.
All right, don't go away. We're coming right back with Tony Hawk's Project 8. Buried Treasure is brought to you by Rogers Video. The experience starts here. Hey, this week's Buried Treasure is a bit of a trip. It's called Graffiti Kingdom, and it's a very cutesy, very colorful, cartoony kind of game. And it might drive you kind of crazy if you're adverse to those kinds of games, but here's the thing. Give this one a chance, because what you can do in this thing is really cool. You can actually draw your own two-dimensional little sort of character creations and then see them come to life in true polygonal 3D form, and they can come with their own animations and stuff. You can actually build creatures and have them have punch attacks and kick attacks and stuff like that. And you can go into battle with all the monsters that you meet in the game with the monsters that you create. And you actually earn new cards as you go and unlock all kinds of new characters as you go. So it does become a bit of a Pokemon-esque kind of collect-them-all kind of thing. But the fact that you can build your own creatures and see them animated, very cool. This is definitely a buried treasure for your PlayStation 2. Hey, welcome back. We're talking now about Tony Hawk's Project 8. This one's from Neversoft and Activision. It's on the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. It's also on the last-gen consoles as well, but we're looking at the current-gen machines. This is finally a revitalized redo of the whole Tony Hawk engine. They've made some big advances in the visual look of the game, finally. Well, it is a kind of a whole new experience this time. The best part about this game for me was the nail the trick thing.
Nail the trick.
I played it mostly on the Xbox 360, so you press both of the buttons in, and then you can kind of slow-mo and do some Matrix-style kind of maneuvers with your feet.
Now, I've nailed a few tricks in my time.
You have?
Have you?
And how much did you
pay?
Did you get any bonus points for that? Or no? Okay.
You know, this is the 8th game now that has come out from Tony Hawk.
Right.
Every game has been fantastic, and this one...
Yeah, they've improved every single time, you know, for the most part.
This one included. Yeah. I'm happy to see one on the new generation coming out
because it is a reboot, right?
That's cool.
Yes.
But next year, let's take a year off.
You know that won't happen, because not only is Tony Hawk going to continue strong, because the sales are amazing, but EA's bringing out their own skating game called Skate, so there's going to be a head-to-head kind of thing. Because skating has been the only action sports video game that has consistently sold really well.
What happened to the create a character thing? That seemed to be a little less.
It was a step down.
It was a step
they
down.
They didn't use the Vision camera on the Xbox 360, which I thought was stupid.
Yeah, why not? We got that in Rainbow Six.
We got that in previous Tony Hawk games on the PS2.
That's true. I forgot about that.
PS3 doesn't have online play.
Because they all blend together. That's why I forgot all of that stuff.
Hey, listen, I had the same cynicism that you do about this series. You know, I wasn't expecting much, but I think they really delivered. I sunk tons of hours into this, so
How
I
about
got
the frame rate, though?
Frame rate slows down a bit on 360, but more on PS3.
Which should not happen, by the way.
Should not happen, and there's no online play on PS3. There's no achievements on PS3.
Which should not happen. That actually was cool.
I love the achievements.
The coolest part was being on the 360 now. You can actually rate yourself against other skaters.
The online
leaderboard's
great.
Well, Tony Hawk appears in the game. We need to mention that.
Some of the pros been buzzing about you.
I liked seeing Jason Lee, too. I thought that was pretty cool.
I heard Tony Hawk and a bunch of pros were coming to town to look for new talent for Project 8.
What are you going to give Tony Hawk's Project 8?
I think it's a fantastic game, but again, that excitement and that nudity wasn't there.
The nudity wasn't there.
The nudity.
Not nudity.
Not nudity.
No.
No.
The freshness.
The freshness wasn't there. I'm giving it an 8.
8? I'm going to give it a 9. I think it's a great game, but pick it up on the Xbox 360. On the PlayStation 3, I'd probably give it an 8. On the positive side, the graphics have been improved greatly. Love the achievements and online leaderboards on the Xbox 360 version. Nail a Trick is just a blast. And I really enjoyed seeing all the different pros and especially having Jason Lee pop up in the game. That was a cool surprise.
On the negative side, the creative player wasn't as rich as in previous years. Would have liked to have seen the vision camera in there so we could put ourselves in the game. No online play on the PS3. And although this is a great improvement, we're just a little afraid that we're going to keep getting beat over the head with Tony Hawk games year after year.
All right, today in Hardware, we're talking about an add-on for your Xbox 360. It's the HD DVD player that connects to the Xbox 360, lets you play high-definition movies through your console. And it's, I think it's a very clever idea, and it's definitely the antidote to the Blu-ray movie playback and the Sony PlayStation 3.
Well, that's kind of the interesting thing about the whole PlayStation 3 price point versus the 360. It's like,
yeah,
if you add all of the stuff onto the 360,
right,
it's actually more than
yep.
what a PlayStation 3 is. So I think Microsoft, you know, maybe was smart to do it this way.
Because they're making money off of every purchase that way,
right.
and they're getting a bit of a markup, I'm sure, and the consumer has a choice. They don't have to buy the whole damn package if they don't want the whole damn package.
Right.
And I actually really like the quality of the film experience. I mean, I think it's comparable to Blu-ray.
I think it's crap.
Well, it is.
I think
it is
it's
better than DVD.
A little.
All I'm saying is that I thought it compared very nicely to the quality of Blu-ray films.
Correct.
I was expecting it to be,
right,
you know, slightly
less
degraded,
right.
And so far from what I've seen, that's not the case.
There's not much of a difference at all.
No.
If you're thinking about buying a PS3 in a year from now,
yep,
I'd say maybe wait till then to see where the chips fall.
So you're going to recommend the HD DVD player for the Xbox 360?
Overall, I'd have to say not right now.
So not recommended with an asterisk?
Sure.
I'm right there too. All right, stick around. We got a great versus for you guys. We've got Gears of War going up against Resistance: Fall of Man.
This is going to be an all-out shootout to the death.
Welcome to the hit list. Here are 5 of our favorite Wii games. Number 5 is Rayman Raving Rabbids. Number 4, Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz. Number 3, WarioWare's Smooth Moves. Number 2, Trauma Center's Second Opinion. And number 1, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. Hey, welcome back. We've got the shooter versus of the century. We've got Gears of War going up against Resistance: Fall of Man. This is Epic going up against Insomniac, Microsoft going up against Sony. This is what everybody's talking about right now. Let's talk about graphics for these two games.
Well, I gotta say, I mean, wow, both extremely
huge high watermarks.
They kind of look a lot alike as well, I thought.
Well, there's a lot of destroyed beauty. That's, I think,
and a lot of gray.
Lots of destruction and buildings blown up and bodies strewn all over the place.
But that being said, you know, I think that after really studying these games and sitting down, I was a little more drawn to Gears of War, and I'll tell you why.
Me too.
A lot of the lighting and the shading and the shadows and stuff really come into play, and it makes it more realistic.
I agree. I wasn't always that way. When I was in the earlier levels of Gears and the earlier levels of Resistance, I thought Resistance looked a little more, you know, it almost looked like paintings that I was looking at with huge vistas, and it was a little more wide open. But then all of a sudden Gears kind of opens up and you get into the factory and you go underground and you see lava and you know, cool light sources and water dripping. I love the look of both games, but I'm giving the graphical edge to Gears of War.
I'm with you on that.
All right, but how about in the sound department? How do these two compare?
Well, here's another really tough one because they both do amazing, excellent jobs.
Sweeping orchestral scores.
Well, now that the music in Resistance was a little more sparse. You know, there wasn't as much of it as.
But when it kicks in, it's very cool.
And it's interactive as well.
Yeah.
I thought the sound design and ambiance that Resistance creates is really good. You can hear other people walking by, and it kind of scares you.
Yeah, and you walk into firefights. It kind of reminded me a little like of Call of Duty meets Half-Life meets Halo. You know, combining all of those. And you walk into firefights. There's a huge battle going on all around you. You hear bullets whizzing over your head all over the damn place. It's very overwhelming.
I like hearing people walk outside the door because it scared you. You're like, whoa. But that being said, the weapon sounds and the explosion sounds that Gears of War has.
And the music is unbelievable in Gears. I think the music is just, I mean, it really felt cinematic.
So overall, again, it's like one's
They're both excellent.
one's a 9 and one's a 10,
Yeah.
but Gears of War
Gears
gets,
for me
gets
too.
a little audio
Yeah,
nod.
Gears for me as well. Now, in terms of gameplay, they are different kinds of shooters.
That's right.
Gears of War is kind of Cliffy B and the rest of the team decided to go. It's almost an homage to Resident Evil 4 mixed with a little Rainbow Six that kind of tactical strategy shooter with lots of survival horror, jump out of your seat kind of moments. And there is a lot of hide and seek in this game. You're supposed to go behind columns and pop up and shoot. There's lots of duck and cover kind of thing. You can't just run through Gears and expect to get through the game. You're going to get killed every single time.
And the thing is that, it does almost pose one of the only problems I have in Gears of War, which is some of this stuff is like
magnetized.
sticky,
Yes.
and it draws you. So
I
you
know.
can be trying to get away from something, and you're hitting a button, and it forces you to go into certain objects and stuff.
And I'll tell you why that is. It's the same button. You press the A button to do the ducks and the rolls and this, the evade type of maneuvers as you press to go and lock up into the, you're ducking behind some kind of stone slab or something like that.
Now,
but I mean, this is such a visceral, tactile experience, Gears of War. I really enjoyed the gameplay, and I did like that they went in a different direction. Because Resistance, as beautiful as it is, and as fresh as it is, and it's as great of a launch title for the PlayStation 3,
it didn't. It's another first-person shooter.
It felt like Doom to me. It felt like Doom, but with Half-Life 2, Halo 2, and Call of Duty style presentation.
So gameplay-wise, I'm going to give it to Gears of War. Again, a slight nudge.
Yeah, I think Gears is just a little bit fresher than Resistance is, but it is a masterpiece, and there's a big reason why it's selling as well as it is on the 360. Overall, I guess Gears for me.
Gears would win for me as well, but both excellent.
What are you going to give Gears of War?
I'm doing a 9.5.
Me too, 9.5 as well. I'm right there with you. What about Resistance Fall of Man?
I'm giving that an 8.5.
I'm up there too, 8.5.
All right, there you
exactly
go.
the same conclusion. So there you have it, two fantastic system-selling shooters. Tommy and I both preferred Gears over Resistance, both fantastic though. And we just want to give a shout out and a big thank you to the World Series of Video Games for hosting us here. Go check those guys out online, do some practicing, and maybe you'll be like a fatality at
A pro gamer.
at Gears of War 2
Gears of
tournament
War
or
2,
something.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Cool. Today on the show, Tommy and I took a look at Superman Returns. We love the ability to fly at super speed across the full city of Metropolis, but repetitive missions and collision detection bugs are this game's kryptonite. Excite Truck. It sure is a fast game and you can switch out the lame music, but man, how about that music and those invisible walls? Tony Hawk's Project 8. The graphics are sweet and Nail the Trick is just so cool. It is a good improvement, but we're just concerned that we're going to get beat over the head with sequels. In Versus, it was Resistance Fall of Man. The expansive vistas and overwhelming firefights are awesome, but the game does feel pretty similar to previous first-person shooter hits. We looked at that one against Gears of War, which features incredible textures and lighting, fantastic music, and it's an original hybrid shooter survival horror game, but those magnetic walls took some getting used to. Both great, but Gears wins this battle. Our Rogers Video Game of the Week is Gears of War. No surprise there.
Can we put her on the show?
Perhaps. But a Blu-ray or HD-DVD game, pay attention, I'm still making TV.
Oh.
But a Blu-ray or HD-DVD game can store a lot more. She's barely wearing clothes.
Girls Gone Wild.
Is she on our show? I guess she is.
She is now.